Hi, my name is Gibson, and I'm the creator of the Personal Development School. This is your daily breakthrough video, and in this video, I'm going to take you through 5 signs the anxious, preoccupied individual is ready for a relationship, and is ready for a commitment, or is just really, really wanting some kind of like deeper connection in a relationship in general. So the first one that shows up quite often is the anxious preoccupied will start asking what you're feeling, and they'll really be trying to dig into like how you feel about us. And they may initiate this conversation. They may initiate conversations about, where the relationship is going in your thoughts. And they are quick to try to sort of like initiate moving the conversation in the direction to start discussing commitment. What I do find that's quite interesting is anxious preoccupied individuals do often tend to sort of hold back and like not want to initiate the conversation themselves a lot of the time until they sort of have a read on like where you're at. And a big reason for this is APs tend to have this fear of abandonment and fear of like being a burden, being too much, coming on too strong. And often most APs, even if they're not aware of attachment theory, maybe like somewhat aware that they don't want to come on too strong, or that they may find historically that behavior pushes people away. So often we'll see AP start to really like feel out, how are you feeling about us, and sort of like moving the conversation in that direction and doing it sort of repetitively to a certain degree. And I want to just say something on this topic. Like if you are an AP and you're finding yourself in this position, it's really going to be important for you to build your self-esteem so you feel comfortable and confident, having deep conversations, like going and talking about needs and the future. And of course, like at the appropriate time, but really being able to like feel that you have your own back and you feel comfortable and able to initiate the conversations that you desire in a relationship in a healthy way. And the big difference here is like, if you're afraid to initiate a conversation, that still comes across as like indirect neediness in a way. And it's still in some senses to the other person's subconscious mind may push them away a little bit. But if you just feel confident, like supporting what your needs are, but you also feel comfortable and confident enough in yourself that somebody's reaction doesn't define how you have to feel about you. So for example, like if you are like, I want a relationship in the future, and you just have that conversation because you think that that's perfectly fine, that's appropriate, you are worthy and deserving of that, you are good enough to have that, and whatever someone else's timeline or needs are really has nothing to do with you. It just is a conversation to have, and you can find out like where that person's at to see if they're a good fit for you and your needs and what you desire. If you're coming from that place, the way you naturally in your body language, micro expressions, tone of voice, how you maintain eye contact, all these things that are like the nonverbal communication parts, which by the way are 93% of communication research shows roughly, then you that confidence will be seen and heard and understood, and it won't be something that repels somebody, right? So if you stand behind, and it's different if you're having the conversation all the time and pressuring and pushing something, but if you just feel like, hey, it's been, quite a few dates, and I'm trying to figure out like what the future holds. And this is something I want at some point in the future. It doesn't have to be right now, but like, I also don't want to waste my time with somebody who's not on the same page. Initiating that conversation from that place of confidence is really, really powerful and important. And, the route to that, if you find yourself stuck, is 2 main things. Number one thing is going to be to reprogram your core wounds. And it's going to be really important to do that. And number two is going to be to take different tips and tools that help you increase your self-esteem. Things like overcoming unworthiness through understanding your shadow and doing shadow integration work, ending comparison programming in your subconscious mind, a whole bunch of different things. But anyways, if you want to do a deep dive into any of those courses, you can check them out for free in the 7-day free trial. We have the anxious preoccupied reprogramming course, which has a focus on core wounds. So does the emotional mastery course, as well as the shadow work course. It's literally called Overcoming Unworthiness by Understanding and Accepting Your Shadow. I believe that's the name. We've got lots of courses in there. So those are really good ones. Even we have a Skyrocket Your Self-Esteem course you can check out that talks about how to reprogram like the comparison mindset, all kinds of stuff. And you can check those out for free for 7 days by clicking the link in the description box below. Just it's going to be important to do that work so that you feel confident and comfortable having any conversations you need to. Number 2 sign that the AP is looking for a commitment is when they start asking a lot about what you're thinking about the future. So like, how do you feel about the future of us? Or, what are you thinking are future plans? Or what do we want to do for the holidays together? What do we want to do next summer together? Travel plans for the future, when there's a lot of like talking about the future, but also like trying to ask what you're thinking about the future. These things tend to be, and these are number 2 and 3 together, like the two major signposts, like talking about the future themselves, or like trying to gauge what you think. Oh, would you want to make plans for next summer? What are you thinking for next summer? Like these sorts of dialogues. And again, it's that the anxious preoccupied, their subconscious mind is often looking for reassurance and safety in their relationship dynamics. And so when there's a lack of that, it can be really tough. But being able to initiate that and then, get those needs met in those indirect ways, it's often a strategy the AP relies on. And number 4, sometimes the AP will sort of put the conversation on the spot, like try to pull it out of you a little bit, the relationship conversation, because they often fear like initiating themselves, like we talked about, and fear that they're being too much, or that they're going to push you away and lose you, or these sorts of things. If you're the AP watching this, just notice that, like, that's a really like hard way to have to even feel. Like you should feel like you are enough to be able to have any conversation that you want to with somebody that you're giving your time to. Like time is such a precious resource, and it's okay to have a conversation with somebody, to talk about where you stand and to know what your boundaries are, like for how much you want to invest your time with somebody or not with somebody. And for somebody to be able to say, hey, I'm not there yet, but I'll get there soon. That doesn't mean that like you're being rejected or something like that. It just means that people have different sets of programming. So I know there can be such a strong fear, as long as like you're doing things from a place of confidence, and as long as you're willing to respect your own boundaries. So like if somebody says, you know what, I'm open to a relationship, that's something I definitely want in the future. And, maybe it's only, for example, like, let's say like 6 weeks now, that we've been seeing each other, but like, I could see us getting there in the next like month or 2, if you're in that kind of space, and then the person follows through and they do get there and they make the commitment, like that's very healthy. If somebody says, yeah, I might be open to that in the future, and then that drags on for like 6 months, like maybe you decide, hey, wash my hands. This isn't something that meets my needs right now. The person's not on the same page, and I do want a relationship. And maybe you don't want a relationship either, and that would be okay. But just, often APs do tend to look for that, obviously. And just being able to like respect your own boundaries, not personalize these things. That this makes these conversations better and easier, and to not assume that if someone's not exactly on the same page at exactly the same pace, that it means they don't like you. Because I see APs go through that a lot. And often I'll hear from the other partner historically that no, that wasn't the case at all. Like I really like the person. I just need to move a little more slowly. So, anyways, there can be all this like pressure put on inside that makes those conversations really difficult. And then our number 5 thing that we have here is really prioritizing plans. This will be like a really simple one. You'll see APs really going out of their way to prioritize plans, and sometimes to a little bit of extremes. So sometimes you'll see the AP like prioritize you and cancel on their friends at the last minute to see the person they're in a relationship with, or the person that they're dating, obviously, because they're not in a relationship yet for this video. But sometimes you'll see them canceling on family, canceling on, trips or things like that, just to spend more time. And if you are the AP doing that, sometimes it can be a red flag of like a little bit of codependent behavior. If you see yourself fast tracking down, like making that one person you're dating like the whole center of your universe instead of a beautiful part of your universe. So keep that in mind, just in case you need to sort of rebalance that. But these are 5 major signs. Again, you can check out those courses I mentioned for free. The Anxious Preoccupied Reprogramming, the Skyrocket Your Self-Esteem, or the Overcoming Unworthiness Through Shadow Work course, by clicking the link in the description box below. So thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing. We have a beautiful community. I appreciate every single one of you guys, and I will see you tomorrow.